to Invest Insights. I'm Abby Maloney. I'm joined today by Vlad Rozanovich, the SVP and President of Lenovo North America. Vlad, thank you so much for being here today.
Abby, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thanks for having me.
I haven't made it a secret that you're competitive, having been a collegiate rower back in your Boston University days, and with a particular affinity for the NCAA. That being said, and considering how the season looks like, how does your bracket look and who are you rooting for?
Well, Abby, I'll tell you, you're absolutely right. I've back in my college days, I was a collegiate athlete, planning to play basketball in college, but then actually became a 4-year varsity rower at Boston University. I definitely have this competitive edge, but I will tell you, my wife, who graduated from University of Kentucky, is a massive, massive basketball fan. And I think if I would have chosen anyone other than the University of Kentucky Wildcats, I probably would be sleeping out in the streets. So let's just say that my bracket is not doing very well this year because of some of the upsets that you've seen in this NCAA tournament. But it is an awesome time of year, and I absolutely love this time with the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. And how do you feel your competitive spirit has played a role in your success at Lenovo?
Yeah, Abby, competitiveness is something that drives me every day. When I look at it, it's part of my life. It's part of how I've always been in the business world. There's always this desire to ensure that we as an organization or myself personally, really striving to get to those number one positions. At Lenovo, being the number one PC manufacturer in the world, leading in innovative design and development and deployment of such amazing systems. What I love about it is when I look at seeing, okay, how do I make sure that I drive to multiple number ones in the North America region? So for instance, at Lenovo in North America, we're number one in the very large business space, which is businesses over 1,000 people in size. But the reality is there's other parts of the market where we are not number one. And so the thing that I'm really focused on and making sure that my team drives to is how do we grow in other parts of the market? Maybe it's in the services part of the market, or the server side of the market, or different segments within that PC space. Those are all things that are kind of driving my competitive spirit to ensure that I'm looking to say, how do I get to those number one positions?
A long career at AMD and now find yourself at Lenovo. How do you see innovation and creativity key to business operations, and how does it inform how you decide your priorities and objectives?
Yeah, Abby, what I see is at Lenovo, we continue to push the envelope. We've had a rich history and firsts of many things. Just over the last couple of years, Lenovo was the first to bring a 5G laptop to market. We were also the first to bring to the market with our Motorola division foldable phones with our Razr phones. We also were the first to introduce a foldable laptop to the market. And so when you look at some of the things that we're trying to do and develop here at Lenovo, it's really to try to drive the industry. It's to drive the market. And it's not just in the devices themselves, it's in the way we do business. When we think about the amount of money that we're spending this year, about $2 billion in research and development, some of that's going to be to make sure we are the first in new technology advances. But some of it's also to make sure that we're looking at other parts of the business, like our ESG strategy. One of the things that's really key to us is we're investing in how do you make our products or the services of how we deliver those products more environmentally friendly and more socially responsible. So when we think about things like how do we develop the right packaging to ship our products, we've moved from styrofoam and plastics to now things like sugarcane and bamboo, which are actually compostable and recyclable. And so those are some of the things we've done. In addition, in some of our products, instead of using real leather covers on some of our laptops, our high-end laptops like our Z series, now we're using recycled vegan plastics, which gives a look and feel like leather, but is actually good for the environment. And so those are some of the things that we've done to make sure that we're innovating and really kind of bringing product goodness out to the market, not in just the way we design our products, but also in the way we run every aspect of our business.
I've been having a lot of discussions with professionals in financial wealth, and the topic of ESG has come up time and time again. And I think it's incredibly important that companies like Lenovo incorporate a strong ESG approach, especially in light of how it's taken center stage for the investors of tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Abby. And it's not just about the environmental portion of it. The other thing that we actually look at as part of our ESG strategy is also our diversity and inclusion. And
Right.
those are things that we're also continuing to make sure that we invest. We invest in our people. We invest in making sure that we're bringing the right talent into the organization and making things like inclusive design with our products. So, for instance, one of the things that we've just implemented is a designer review board, so that when we look at products and how we bring Lenovo products to the market, we're looking at how do you introduce a product and make sure that it is inclusive of all people, all types. And it's important to make sure that we vet that process to say, is this product we're bringing to the market, is this something that is inclusive of the entire world? Because when we think about Lenovo's slogan of smarter technology for all, it's not smarter technology for some or smarter technology for these people. It really is that concept of we're trying to make sure that the products we design, build, and bring to market are actually going to be able to be used for the entire scope of what our customers are looking for and what their capabilities are.
As we know, technology is more and more essential to businesses, from data analytics to cloud services, AI and machine learning, blockchain and cryptocurrencies. What do you see as some of the new creative technologies that will have a big impact? And are there any innovations at Lenovo that you feel will be game changers for the future?
Yeah, Abby, you just mentioned some of the real big game changers in the industry. And when I look at it, there's multiple areas of those innovative strategies and technologies that we're really making sure that we're investing in. Just some of those, for instance, AI, AR, VR. Let me give you some examples, right? So for instance, we were recently at the end of last year named by Time Magazine as one of the inventions of the year with our AR glasses, our A3 glasses, Think Reality glasses, and what we are bringing to market is this concept of having a device where you can have somebody actually look through those lenses and be on the other side of the world. So for instance, some of those use cases, when we think about service technicians, maybe it's someone working on a 5G tower, or maybe it's someone working in a data center. You can send more of a junior technician to those sites, and then really have your experts looking through the eyes and ears of that person who's actually there physically and help guiding them. And what we've noticed is that actually helps. It helps bring some of those technicians who may be more junior. It gets them up to speed quicker. The
Right.
other thing we've seen is that in the world of virtual reality, Lenovo's done a lot when we start looking at things like our VR classroom solutions. So instead of just watching a video to say, hey, let's look at what could be on the bottom of the ocean, you actually put on these virtual reality glasses and you can physically see what is on the bottom of the ocean. And it's this completely immersive experience that we're bringing to market. And when you think of things like AI, there's so many different use cases. It could be things like retail store solutions where you're really trying to get a customer to be influenced in a way that says, okay, here is what you are looking for, and here's the fastest way to find it. Or it could be in things like security. Security is such an important part of today's world. When we look at things like cybersecurity, if you could actually have AI do things like speed up detection and remediation of different viruses and other things that may be out there trying to be a malicious actor in the world of cybersecurity, for us to actually use things like AI technology to stop and sense and be able to remedy that in advance is really something that Lenovo is trying to make sure that we bring to the marketplace.
Absolutely. And as you could see, we could talk about this topic all day. But to round out the discussion, what role does creativity play in remaining competitive in today's landscape?
Yeah, Abby, this is a great question. This is something that I spent a lot of time with my team on. One of the things we do here at Lenovo to bring creativity to the market, it's not just creativity from people who've been in the organization for 5, 10, 20 years. One of the areas that I'm most excited about, and I've actually taken an active role in, we have a new college grad program called our Lenovo Accelerated Sales Rotation Program, or our LASER program. And what's wonderful about that program is we actually look at students coming right out of school, or people who are maybe early in their career on the technology side. And what we do is we make sure that they go through a rotational program where they learn about the company, and we call it Think University. Now, what's awesome is that as part of Think University, those new hires actually get a chance to present back to me and the leadership team on areas within the company that they think can have more efficiency, on things like product design, on things like customer attraction or retention, or how we do things differently. And so when I think about it, it's not just when we look at the dynamic face of our customer base. You know, when you look at things like Gen Z coming into the market, they're going to think and act differently than maybe people who've been in the marketplace for 20 years. And so to actually have people who are in Gen Z talking about how people in Gen Z actually want to see, our products, our services, our engagement with customers, and for us to actually get that feedback back from our new hires, it adds that sense of creativity for what does the market really want, and how are we making sure that we're servicing all aspects of the market, not just those IT buyers or consumers that may have been in those roles for many, many years.
What has been some interesting feedback as of late?
Well, I'll tell you, so some of the things that I look at when we have this sales rotational program, one that stands out in my mind is we had somebody who went through a healthcare rotation as part of their laser program. And this one candidate, what amazed me about her is she brought back this concept of what's called virtual rounding within healthcare facilities. When you look at things like what the pandemic has brought and how doctors really couldn't go room to room, what I saw was we saw that by doing things virtually and by setting it up in a way where you could actually have these meetings with the doctor virtually through Lenovo tablets and things like smart collaboration devices, it was a new way of looking at a problem. Instead of saying, okay, you know what, we need to get suited up to go into that COVID patient's room, actually just to bring a tablet in to say, okay, you can talk to the doctor and have your virtual rounds done. It was amazing to see what some of these newcomers to the industry actually came up with, the concepts of how we can do things better, how our products fit some of these areas like healthcare in a better, more efficient way. And so for me, that was one that really stood out. And it's amazing, after her rotational program, now I'm happy to say that she's actually in our healthcare sales team, which is really, really awesome for me.
Like the best place for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Vlad.
Abby, it was great to be here. Thanks so much.
Well, that was Vlad Rozanovich, the SVP and President of Lenovo North America. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to hear more CEOs and thought leaders share their opinions and advice on the current business climate. Until next time, I'm Abby Malone, and this has been Invest Insights. Thanks for tuning in.